always pretty clear to me that I didn't quite fit in. Whether it's trying to make friends in middle school, worrying about what your family will think of your new partner, stressing about the culture at a new job, it never seems to go away, does it? It's easy to convince yourself that the best way to fit in is to be normal, to constantly question everything how you look, your experiences, even what you feel. I want to change it. But trying to be someone you're not is exhausting. And a lot of the time, you just end up feeling worse about yourself, not better. So, can we feel like we belong without losing who we are? Back in school, when kids were running around at recess and playing sports, I was always happier with my books. Well, as long as I didn't have to carry them, because I couldn't do that for too long. I always had friends, but I also kept to myself a lot. And I was never that into all the parties everyone went to. It would have been easier if I'd been a straight A student, but I wasn't. I got detention once for not doing my math homework. Apparently, saying I didn't have the energy to finish it didn't cut it. I still remember my math teacher wearing a Ralph Lauren logo dress that day, which, considering my name, just felt super unfair to have to look at. So I didn't quite fit in or ever feel normal, but I tried, and sometimes trying got me in trouble. A few years ago, I'm on a second date with this guy I like, and he suggests we climb the hill nearby to watch the sunset, which is super cute, right? But he wants to take a shortcut, which is this steep dirt path littered with pebbles. I'm not sure I can do that, but I say, sure, because a normal girl would climb the hill. So he takes my hand, we start climbing, and we make it. We high five, I'm feeling good. For a few seconds. Suddenly, I start feeling hot and dizzy, and I'm pretty sure I'm about to faint, which is definitely not the hot girl vibe I was going for. At that moment, I decided to share something I hadn't yet told him, or you, about me. I was born with central core disease, a rare neuromuscular disorder where some of the mitochondria in my muscle cells is missing, meaning I have about 33% of the physical strength of the average person. Not 33% less strength, just straight up 33% strength. So things like climbing stairs, carrying heavy things, walking or standing for long periods have always been difficult. That's my thing. That's what makes me feel different from other people, and not exactly good different. Growing up, I tried to avoid anything where I would visibly struggle. I didn't want this thing that I couldn't control to make me stand out in public. I know I'm not alone in feeling that way. Maybe you don't have a disability, but I bet you also have a thing. Most people do. Maybe it's a physical or mental health condition. Maybe it's a family or financial situation, a past experience, an aspect of your appearance. Maybe it's temporary, or maybe, like me, it's not. But everyone has something, and we're scared of being ridiculed, ostracized, or judged for it. So how do we try to fit in? Well, a lot of the time, we'll aim to hide what makes us different. That's what I did for over 30 years. I didn't tell people about my disability until I absolutely had to, and I just hoped nobody would pick up on it. And on the surface, that can work. But the cost of hiding your thing is you're putting all of your energy into not being found out, instead of actually living. And even if you think you're successful, people might judge you anyways, because they're already judgy. If they suspect you're hiding something but can't figure out what, they might fill in the blanks for themselves. And sometimes what they come up with is way worse than the truth you're trying to hide. When you can't hide your thing anymore, or don't want to, you're tempted to compensate for it. For me, that meant pushing through difficult situations, pretending I was fine. Like when I would climb the stairs up to the 4th floor of my high school with everyone else, instead of taking the elevator, because I didn't want to stand out. Or like when I would make my vacations with friends harder on myself by trying to keep up with everything they did. Or like when I almost passed out on that second date with my boyfriend. I was just making my life more exhausting by adding the extra burden of trying to be normal. When nothing else works, we accept that we are different. or at least we try. And sometimes the results can be amazing. When I first started talking about my disability online and in my personal life, something totally unexpected happened. People who understood it started finding me. Some had the exact same rare disorder I do. Others had different disabilities, but related to my feelings. And some had their own thing entirely and felt safer sharing it after hearing mine. If this was an inspirational talk, I would tell you I learned to accept myself and it led to me living my best life. Acceptance was important, but it also wasn't enough. When I stopped trying to hide and compensate for my disability, I removed the burdens that I had put on myself. Yes, I stopped making my life harder than it needed to be, but that didn't mean it was easy. I still have a disability. I still have problems. I had invested a lot of energy into rejecting something about myself that I couldn't change. And just because I'd accepted it does not mean I was happy about it. But I did find something that helps. My first job out of university was at one of the largest South Asian festivals in Canada. The festival was only one day, but a 17-hour day, mostly on my feet in a 65-hour work week. I knew it was going to be tough, but I told myself, it's only one day. I can do anything for one day. It was so much tougher than I thought it'd be. All day long, I was speed walking back and forth across a 30,000-person outdoor venue, ignoring all the body pain, carrying a Ziploc bag of a cheese scone I never found time to eat. It was exhausting. But later that night, when I looked out from the side of a stage, I saw the bright lights, heard the coolest music, and realized that thousands of people, literally right in front of me, were dancing and cheering because of something I worked so hard on. I felt this surge of joy and pride as I looked out at the crowd, and I thought, yay! When the next morning came, I could barely move. I couldn't walk without limping for a full week. But when my contract came up for extension, I didn't dwell on the exhaustion or the body pain. I remembered the joy I felt and decided to stick with it. My 8th grade yearbook would show you that one of my favorite sayings was yay. It's always been my natural reaction when something makes me happy. When I hear from a friend I haven't talked to in forever, when I set up my new bedroom lamp by myself, when I get my nails done and I'm obsessed with how sparkly they are. Paying attention to all the little yays makes it feel a little easier to get through a hard day. And with only 33% physical strength, honestly, pretty much every day is kind of hard. Eventually, I stopped waiting for those moments to happen and started looking for them. I thought, surely they can help me get through difficult regular days too, the way they helped on festival days. What if I could build resilience through finding joy? So I made a conscious effort to try, and the Daily Yay was born. The Daily Yay is part gratitude practice, part mindset and perspective shift. Basically, consciously appreciating something good every day. Life is too short to not have a daily yay. Across my career, I worked a total of 14 festivals. The pain and exhaustion came back with everyone. But they were temporary. The joy I felt always lasted. So how do we find our daily yay? I do it in one of 3 ways. Observing or doing something that makes me smile, like seeing a super cute dog in my elevator, or finally trying a bakery I've been meaning to visit. Identifying something I achieved, like booking a new client, or knocking multiple chores in a day off my to-do list, or asking myself a question, like, what's something kind someone did for me today? Or what was the highlight of my day? Every night, I open my gratitude journal app and answer the question, what was your daily yay? Sometimes they stick out right away when they happen. Sometimes I have to look back on the day to find one. But I can always find one based on either observation, achievement, or asking myself a question. And the more I train my brain to look for these good things, the easier it is to find them. The artist, Henri Matisse, said there are always flowers for those who want to see them. It turns out We don't need to become someone else. We just need to look for something else.